are here listening to the Dice Tower. Watching the Dice Tower, I suppose. Today, we're doing another top 10 list, and we're going to be talking about top 10 games that you shouldn't play with angry people. For some of you, that would mean you can't play solitaire games. But I guess if you're really playing with someone truly angry...
That went over like a lead balloon.
Well, no, someone out there laughed. You just didn't...
I doubt it.
That vessel was funny.
Thank you. No, but I mean, angry people, we usually try to avoid playing with them, period.
Yeah,
True.
But there's always one or two or three or four or five.
That you couldn't tell.
They slip in
Like, hey, buddy, you want to play a game? Sure. Halfway through. Why'd you do that, huh? Why'd you do that? Let's play Yahtzee instead.
We could do a top 10 list of the top 10 angry reactions in games that I've ever seen. That would include throwing water,
Yes.
flipping a table,
Yes.
leaving the room.
That one I've
Yes.
seen.
That one's happened a lot. Going home,
Throwing
Sure.
throwing cards.
sweeping the board.
Yes.
I've never. Wow.
Throwing cards so that they sweep the board.
You guys need to play with friendly folks.
All right, folks. What we done is we did the same thing we've done in our other top 10 list, and that's where we made a combined top 10 list where we added our scores together. We each made our own top 10 list, and then I used my super mathematical skills to make a top 10. But first, we have three games that we'll each talk about that was not in the top 10. We'll start with you, Z.
Okay, no problem. The three that didn't make it, or three of the ones that didn't make it to the final list. I'm going to start with the Resistance. The Resistance, it could have been this or Werewolf or anything like it. One of those negotiation games, not social games, where sometimes people lose their cool and they don't realize, no, I'm supposed to accuse you. I'm the traitor. I have to. I know you're not. I'll tell you later. But right
I know when
now,
the game's over. You lied to me! Well, duh, that's in the game.
read the rule book. And people lose their minds when you go after them. They go, no, really, it's not me. It's not me. And you're like, I know, it's me, actually. But I'm supposed to. So, people lose their minds with this game.
One of the things I'll mention in that regard, especially with Werewolf, is that because of that thing, I'm always very cautious not to mix age groups.
That's true, yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
In fact, just this past weekend, I ran some Werewolf games where there was a kid and the adults just murdered that kid, and that kid almost cried, because, well, he deserved it. He was a werewolf, so.
Oh, good. Then that's fine. Okay, next game for me, Cash and Guns. This is Yakuza expansion of the Cash and Guns with or without the expansion. It's a game in which you are pointing guns, albeit foam guns, at one another.
Yes.
You need to be careful who you play with. You might want to walk people through a metal detector if you're unclear. Before you start pulling out foam guns in case a real gun pops out. It's just, again, it's that thing where you're supposed to go, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And you're supposed to point a gun at somebody, and people are like, why are you pointing it at me? It's like, well, I had to pick. You're winning. It's how you play the game. Okay.
You're a wimp.
Calm down. And then when from 3 to 1, you flip your, okay, never mind. You dug out of the game. That is the game, and people have an issue sometimes with the fact that, no, I have to. I know the theme's a little rough around the edges, people pointing guns at each other, but you knew that coming in, All
right.
You have to be okay with you being the target. So there's that. And my last game was, which I don't have here, Creationary.
I'll build it.
Creationary is a Lego game in which you build... It's like Pictionary with Lego bits. And this could have been Pictionary, because it's that game where, you're drawing, the guy's like, oh, it's a donkey. Yeah, no, the zebra. It was a BMW. No, it wasn't. That was clearly a striped donkey. But that's Pictionary, where you get to draw. Pictionary, you get to draw. Creationary, you got to build it out of Lego pieces. And now you're asking for it. Because it's like, People are like, I don't know what. You just want to flip it and get all the Lego pieces and just scrape them all off the table. It is the most maddening game, you know. You gotta like, it just drives people up the wall. I'm like the angry guy in that game.
Well, there's the clay ones too.
You know?
You make things out of clay.
At least clay, I can like do whatever I want with. You know what I mean? I can't like reshape the bits in creation area. That game, if you know you have gamers that get angry with the drawing games, and there's plenty out there, avoid creation area. Take that to the 10th power.
All right.
Ciao.
What about your 3?
All right, my 3. First one that I'm coming up with is that didn't make the list is Warhammer 40K.
Or any miniatures
Oh
game.
yeah, really any miniatures game, because I mean you got these guys that spend hours upon hours upon hours upon many more hours detailing their models, painting their armies, constructing their armies using computer programs to optimize this model over this model or this model with this little gun attached, and then you get to the board and you just lay waste to their army.
You'll rule the day.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be back. You know, all this kind of stuff.
Well, you know, at Warhammer 40K tournaments, they have a sportsmanship award, and you can basically win it by being normal.
And you know what?
Really?
No. I'll say this. In tournaments,
You're getting mad
the
now.
guy that won sportsmanship was the guy that just basically let them do whatever they wanted to do.
I'm just saying.
Let them do whatever they wanted to do. And I'm sitting here watching the game and I'm going, you can't do that. I don't care.
I wanted to win the sportsmanship
Oh,
award.
I
Okay.
became the angry person.
But this is why I don't play many miniatures games, because it's really easy for people to get angry. You move that model an extra inch.
Right.
You did.
exactly.
You did. And
you moved it an extra 1/10 of a millimeter.
and the very
I'm
long.
right there with you. I avoid them exactly because of that. That imprecise nature of the games gets under my skin.
Yeah.
Just bothers
Well,
me.
it's not really imprecise nature. It's playing the game imprecisely. You have to have that precise mind in order to play the game correctly. If you just say, okay, here's 6 inches, I'm gonna move one model up there, and then I'm gonna just go,
Right.
oh, that, no. No.
All right, let's move on.
Anyway,
We're gonna need pills by then.
Warhammer, I know, right?
Strung out. So upset.
Warhammer 40K is my first one. Second one, and I have to kind of take a little bit of a personal note here, that's Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. Holy crap. This is not just Nordic countries.
It comes with its own included brick. In case you get pissed off.
Gracious.
You know, I have all my Ticket to Ride games sorted out. This is all the boards are in that box.
Okay, gotcha.
okay,
You
Sam.
need to tell somebody that before they try to pick it and have a hernia. Okay, so you have Ticket to Ride Nordic Countries. This was the first, I think, of the nastier maps that they've come out with. They've come out
Maybe
with,
Switzerland, but yeah.
this is only 3 players, and so it's a really tight, very jam-packed map, and there are very few, there are a lot of places where there's only one thing, and it connects this side of the board to that side of the board.
And that's it.
And
Yeah, it's like they went back to the old original maps. They're like, okay, how about if we remove all these tracks and just say it's only for 3 people? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, sure, that won't get people
that is
pissed off at all.
exactly
You know?
what happened.
India and Africa and Switzerland. All 4 of those. If you want to play nice Ticket to Ride, get Europe.
Europe is nice.
Europe is nice.
Your little train station and everybody's happy. I heard Africa. I have not played, but I heard that game will.
But I
You will
have
wrap-
I have to personally say that this one, I was playing it with my wife and my son, and I threw the cards in such a manner to where it wiped the board clean.
Thank you for sharing, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm an angry gamer.
All right, you got one more.
And I got one more, and that is a trick-taking game called Rook. Oh, in college we played Rook every weekend probably for a little while, and there were these guys. There were 2. One of them was Terry, and the other one, I can't remember the other guy's name, but Terry was the guy that I remember. I could hear him down the hallway. What are you you're supposed to play this card, you know, and I'm like, dude, it's a stupid card game for crying out loud. Now, you can, when we were in California, I played this with some of our church members, a couple of our deacons and their wives.
Recipe for trouble.
And
Yeah, that's asking.
now, look, they were angry, but they were very civil about it. But you could see behind the scenes, they were very, really, Pastor, really? Is that the card you gonna play?
That's
Alrighty then.
It's like reading a British play.
I have to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. And you hear like crash. No, that didn't happen.
The mirror is broken.
But Rook is just one of those cards. If you play with people, card games where if you play with people that always play, they take it incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, now if I lead this, that tells you that you need to play this card. And
Partnership trick-taking games are very dangerous. Anything where there's a partner, even like a game like Password or whatever. I mean, that came back to the whole Pictionary thing. Where people would draw and it was done. People throw a marker. You can't draw at all. Never pick up a pencil again.
Yeah, it just gets nasty. But yeah, trick-taking games, do it anyway. And then partnership ones. Whew.
All right, my three are, the first one is Bang, a card game. And Bang is a game that should be fun. Everyone's shooting at everybody else. But there are moments in Bang, like when the deputy on the first turn, for no reason, he decides to empty his, or no, the sheriff usually does it. Yeah. The sheriff was like, I don't know who's my deputy, so I'm just going to unload on this guy. And he takes the guy out of the game in the very first turn, who is his deputy, who then, I think, somewhat justly explodes. As does the other deputy, because now he's by himself. Yeah. And there's just some moments in Bang where things can happen like that. Another one is Game of Thrones, which has a feeling similar to one of the games that's on our top 10 list, but there are spots in Game of Thrones where you can just really do mean and nasty things to each other. Right. Really mean and nasty things that have super long-term repercussions. And there are moments of betrayal that just happen.
It fits the theme, though.
It does fit the theme. But you know, when you're playing the game, you're not like, oh, when you just slip that dagger between my ribs, that's so thematic, and I appreciate it.
For the next 2 hours, I'll be sure to deal with that. Yeah.
And then the last one is one I was actually surprised neither one of you guys picked, and that's Survive.
I was thinking about putting it on my list. It made the short list, it just didn't make the cut.
Survive is a game where you are destroying people's swimmers as they go to islands with sharks and whales and sea monsters, and it's really not nice at all. It's called a family game, and it does work for families, but my kids cried when we played the game because their people were getting eaten, and what are you supposed to do? It's like, suck it up, your guy died.
Thank you, Tom, for sharing.
Good parenting skills.
He didn't die, he just swam in a different direction.
The whale is just moving him.
Yeah, but I have played Survive where I've seen people get very angry because they had all their people on one boat.
The whale swallowed your person. He's going to spin him up on shore somewhere else.
On a different board, yeah, that game is... I had better examples for the same kind of thing.
Oh, the same kind of thing?
You get to pick, that guy's going to die. You know what I mean? And so I had other examples for it. I think... It's like there's nothing else to do in that game but that.
Right.
Where I tried to pick games where you could do this, or you could go and smack someone. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. So you're saying in the game you're expected to smack everybody, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, a little bit, you know.
Well, here we go. The top 10.
Dun, dun, dun.
Number 10 is Twilight Imperium 3. By the way, I have a standing thing that this year Fantasy Flight's going to announce Twilight Imperium 4. Think I'm right?
That's
Okay, it has nothing to do with anything.
I don't think it's right.
Okay.
You're gambling on that one? Okay.
This is one of Sam's
expensive.
top choices. Why?
Yes. This is a game that absolutely requires
Calmness?
a level head. Because there are cards that are special objectives that say take control of your neighbor's home system.
Yes.
And once you do that, you cash in your card, and if you're nice, you move out and let him move back in. But if you're not nice, you continue taking him out. And that just doesn't sit well with people. And if you have somebody that's been very connected to their home race, they get angry. I've seen timid people get angry in this game.
I think one of the reasons is because of its length.
Yeah, that's
The longer
true.
a game
It
is, the
an
more
investment,
involved you
right.
get, you know,
agree.
and so
I
when you
agree
get,
with that, yeah.
especially when in this game, it doesn't happen often in TI3, but it can, where you can be effectively taken out of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And that can really upset somebody who gets angry easily.
right,
And
absolutely.
I've seen that more than 4 or 5 times. That really,
Wow.
Yeah, I can't say that I would be getting angry, but
There's still a guy I
The one
know
thing
who's
that-
angry at Sam about this game from something that happened
true.
like 8, 9 years ago.
Wow.
He said the next time you play, he's going after you. He's waiting.
Sharpening his knife somewhere.
So you better be prepared,
in a
Sam.
Russian
Smurfs.
prison.
Yes.
I remember that. He was blue, and I was like, I'm attacking the Smurfs. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I'm
Only
just
to
saying.
you. He's
I
coming.
will say this though. It is one of the games that you just I drew a blank.
I'm angry.
You did what? Yeah, I avoid this because it's like 9 hours.
It's not 9 hours.
It might come back to you later. Let's go to number 9.
Anyway, goodness.
All right, number 9 is Ugg-tect or Arg-tect before it got renamed by
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight.
That's because ARG doesn't translate to
People were
English.
upset about that one too. They were like, Ugg-tect was
Well, that's-
Arg-tect.
That's another
Oh.
top 10 list of things that people get mad about in
Yeah.
gaming.
There you go.
They changed the
Now,
name!
here's the game, right? You're working with a partner, and they are your cavemen, and you are trying to get them to build a structure from a card only you are looking at with various wooden blocks. You communicate with said person and tell them where to put the pieces by hitting them over the head with an inflatable club. Okay. Except when you get club happy and you're telling the guy, that's wrong, no, not that one, hit you twice for yes, hit you once for no, that's good, oh, that's good again. And the guy starts getting pissed off. Because we're not cool like that.
Why would you get pissed off at people hitting you over the head with a club?
Because you're, you got some people who are really into focusing on what they're doing, and then the distraction of getting smacked over the head constantly. I mean, I think game's a silly party game, but as soon as you introduce that whole hey, it's like I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, please, let me just work. Give me the card. I'll just build it myself. People lose their cool. It's the silliest game, but avoid it with the angry gamer. That guy who doesn't like to be poked.
Interestingly enough, this one is my favorite game. I did not actually put this one on the list. You guys did.
Oh, we
Both
did?
of you did.
Okay.
And I did not. And I'll explain why I didn't after you guys go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam. What's that?
I mean, it's almost kind of obvious why I could see people putting this on the
I think
list.
you got angry on this box.
I know, really, man.
That's a proof of a game played often.
I play my games. I don't chew on them.
Proof of a game not taken care of.
Oh,
It's like he throws games off roofs or something.
no.
Really?
Get it?
Burns them. Throws them into trash cans.
Okay, hit it. Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter. Man, anytime you have negotiation where you can negotiate something and then just straight up lie to them face to face.
Who does... You can do that in this game?
Yeah,
I
you
would
can.
never do that.
This guy does it to his own wife, for crying out
That
loud.
was a decade ago.
Yeah, that was a little
Yeah,
while
well,
ago.
you caught Twilight. I'm just saying. The idea is this, man. Whenever you can just, it's built into the rules where you just straight up lie to somebody. It's gonna tick somebody off, especially when you get those really trusting people, and they're like,
Yeah, you play
really?
with-
We'll do okay. Yeah, let's do that. I like it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, here's the thing. The payoff is right now. You know what I mean? It's like if we play with friends, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, we'll negotiate. Yeah, we'll negotiate. Sure. 20, but when you play with somebody who's brand new at the game,
Right.
and you're like, yeah, you want to negotiate? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Play to 15, sucker. Your planets belong to me, And they're like, it's like the payoff is right now. Like, you'll know I'm lying in about 3 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're just like taken aback. It's like, wait, oh, you can do that? Yeah.
I had a chance to play this weekend. We played a 7-player game, and there was a 5-player victory
Really?
attacking my planet. And I didn't get upset about that because, whatever. But the reason I didn't put it on my list is because it's almost to be expected in the game. I can see how new people can be really taken aback. But, like, I played it in that particular game. I attacked a guy, and we had a chance to win the game. But because I had told my story about my wife, and then...
You really need to stop telling that story.
Yeah, really.
He didn't believe me, and I did actually negotiate, and he didn't. Had he negotiated, we would have won jointly. What? But I do my best to keep my backstabbing to a minimum, mostly because it's expected from me. But I just... Maybe it's because I think this one doesn't bother me much, because people who get really mad, once they've even touched us a little, they'll never play it again.
I get it. Yeah, but you still want to avoid it that first time with the angry people. You know what I mean? I'm not going to play with those people again anyway. If they're the angry guy, I am not going anywhere near that person with that inflatable
It's a fantastic game. I would actually put this on a list of games not to play with people who aren't fun, in a sense. This is a game that I almost like to pick and choose who I play with.
Sure. Well, I think fun definitely, fun and angry guy exist in two different places. I
guess so.
Yeah, I'll avoid the angry guy by, I'm trying to imply I want to go look for the fun guy.
So if you're angry, don't play with Z. In this one, I'm going to confess that I've been the angry guy somewhat on this one. This comes back to when
I've
Sam
witnessed most of those times.
When Sam, in fact, after we played one game of this, the pastor was playing. He asked me if we needed marital counseling. That's because you're playing with a partner, and you are explaining the easiest person in the world to guess. You have given them the obvious clue. How can they not know who such and such is? And you calmly explain that at the top of your voice. And I have seen so many people get upset at their partner in this game. It's the partnership thing. It's go back to your Pictionary, and this could stand in for almost any party game where you're trying to get your partner to guess something.
Right.
And they just seem to be incredibly dense.
Well, the thing about this one is it escalates too. It didn't make my list, but don't you play in 3 rounds and you have to get progressively quieter?
And each round,
the thing about it is, once you get to like the 3rd round and you're like, and the person's like, what? We did that twice already. We just did it the last 15 minutes twice. You should get it by the 3rd round. You know what I mean? But no, people lose it. You get angry.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, I don't know what.
Right.
I think that the fact that it's 3 rounds in each has the possibility for people to get angrier.
Yeah.
And I've occasionally seen pairs of angry people together.
Oh, that's fun to watch. That's fun to watch.
Popcorn.
I almost recommend that.
That's the caveat. Don't play this with angry people unless there's 2 of them. And make sure they're together, and then just sit back and have a blast. Go pop some popcorn.
Get them together and let them loose upon the game.
Exactly. Because they'll be at each other's throats. I use this in my speech class at school because it helps with different types of communication, not just verbal. You also have to do all this stuff too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I use it in my speech class, and oh man, there's a couple of kids that
they have a hard time using their words.
They're not all there mentally while we're playing this game. And it's like this one guy will be given all the good clues that you can possibly give. I'm sitting back. I haven't even seen the card. I'm like, oh yeah, it's this. And other students are doing the same thing. Yeah, I know what that is. Huh? What? And oh man, the guy that's giving the clues just is vein right here, turning red, and oh man, it's bad. But
the angry thing does not come into effect as much with Title Recall, actually. It happens with the people most of all, because if it's pop culture and you're playing with different generations, old people are like, I don't know who that person is. And then they'll talk, and then the younger people are like, that historical figure, Robert E. Lee, was he a singer in a band? And the old person just wants to...
Oh, that's Iron Man, right?
Right?
Robert E. Lee.
Actually, I use Title Recall in my room. So I don't mean to contradict you, but I use Title Recall in my room. So that's the one.
I just think the name thing makes people angrier.
That's harder. Yeah, it's a little bit harder.
Okay, but I still love the game. All right, moving on. that made our two lists.
Okay.
Is a game in which you make deals to get money. You're splitting money, and you can basically take different deals, and you can say, I agree to take you, or I agree to take you. And then I say, okay, you know what? You're out of this. I agree to take you. And he says, oh, guess what? I'm the boss.
Yeah. Oh, you are? Here's a card. Now it's my turn. Like that, in the middle of your turn.
It's
and
very
that's the one
chaotic.
card that I think does it for me. That's
I'm the
one
boss card?
Yeah, that pushed the game up for me on the list. You know, everything else is pretty much found in just about any negotiation game. No, I'm not gonna work with you. I'm gonna do this over here. Oh, you're gonna do what now? Okay, fine. Now forget it. I'm gonna work. But the fact that when you piss that guy off, he goes, "Oh, really? Now it's my turn."
Or he waits till the negotiations are finished. You've gone through this. Let's work. Okay, I'll give it this, and you get. Well, if I got a deal, good. And then you're like, oh, boom, and it's.
I'll deal with you now. You get half of what he was gonna give you. You know. That's just. Oh.
Have you played this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's one of the few games in that style, economic, free-flowing games, which are kind of weird to do right, that I like. But watch out for people who are not okay with controlling their own little world, because you will not have that in this game. You're
That's
going to get
probably
pushed around.
one of the reasons I didn't like this game. It's because it has that I guess that random chaos factor.
Yeah.
Of somebody just stepping in and saying, "No, let's do the things the way
Yeah,
I
it's
want
kind
to
of
do it."
free-flowing, and if
Right.
you're not okay with games that feel that way, it'll probably upset you. It'll get under your skin.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one from Z in my list that I really thought would be on Sam's list, because if I recall correctly, I've actually seen you get angry at this game. At the game, not the people, but the game.
Yeah. No, I have, and I will if it ever hits the table again. Oh. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Matter of fact, I'll probably get angry at the people that are wanting to play this.
Wow.
Because I absolutely greatly dislike this game.
What are you talking about, Sam? Your robot got pushed, and now you just have to deal with that.
I know, right? Got
On
pushed
the
into
laser and the
got
conveyor
pushed into
belt.
a laser on a conveyor belt into a flamethrower. Yeah, no.
Oh, step 2. Oh, I pushed you. I didn't know you were going to be there. Hang on for the next 5 steps.
And what I think, where I've seen people's buttons really get pushed, is they have a perfect plan, and that plan gets messed up by someone else, and the person who messed up their plan goes, "Ooh, I played the wrong card." That just was an explosion.
Oh, I didn't mean to play that one.
That's funny.
Did I kill you?
This game gives me, it's that thing where you plan, where you take a while and you put together the perfect plan, and then some random person just comes
Can I
in.
borrow your
Just
pen for a
pushes-
moment? I need to stab you in the throat.
Somebody just pushes you slightly over, the track, and now you're like, oh,
Scared.
everything else is not.
Yeah, what I've noticed in this
now.
game is that it brings people to a slow burn. Because you're watching their guy dies once, and they're like, You're like, don't worry, you got more robots. Come back to life. Then they die the next turn. Then they die a third turn. And then usually they're like,
Yeah, no, I think the time I've seen it happen the most is when you tell someone, no, you just power down, and then next turn you start up full up again. Oh, okay, power down. They got smacked around while they're powered off, and then you power back up, and it's like a busted robot, and you're like, oh, sorry, that might not have been the best place to power down. I was coming right through there, you see, right through. And, this gives me the same feeling that, what's that space game I hate? It's the Galaxy Trucker. Yeah, Galaxy Trucker is the same thing. You plan and you do your thing, and then your ship kind of falls
I'm
apart.
surprised you guys didn't put that on
Well,
the...
here's the thing. My list was specifically for me games I would play.
Right.
Games I would actually play, but would avoid playing with the angry guy. Galaxy Trucker, no go.
Yeah.
No play.
I like Galaxy Trucker. These guys are
For
way
the
off
exception of maybe one or two of my games, I did the same thing. Games that I like, I enjoy playing, but I'm not going to play with person A or person B.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just games that make me angry, I just don't want to play. I just won't play those. And Galaxy Trucker, that's on that list.
Okay. Well, that's a bonus now. Galaxy Trucker. All right. Of all the games on this list, I am convinced that this one was designed specifically to make people angry.
Probably.
Oh, no. The number one game, I'm actually convinced, was to make people angry.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one I think was very much...
Number 2.
Well, no, actually, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
This one, you're all working together in a dungeon, but you can constantly be tripping each other up. If you trip people up too early, then they will die or whatever, then they can't help you, and then you won't survive.
Right.
But you can really mess people over at critical points, and sometimes for no reason, and others to just mess them over. Sometimes it doesn't even help you, but it's such a cool card that people are tempted to play it.
Yes.
And then anger occurs, and I've actually seen a few incidents.
I've had people yelling in my face to where I can feel the heat from their breath, and possibly a chunk of lunch hitting my cheek.
Oh, cool.
It was. I mean,
cameras.
they're
The game that buys you lunch.
they're yelling at me like this. This dude actually threw water in my face. No, it was a glass. He was drinking out of it, and I played a card that just totally.
Actually, I think
down.
he was.
What are you guys playing with?
And he sits back, and he.
Wow.
I had to leave the room so that I didn't kill that person.
Wow, you guys need to. We need some serious game counseling here. I'm telling you.
I wasn't the guy that was
when this
angry.
video's over,
Actually,
we're gonna have a little powwow.
Incidentally, this is the same guy who has the grudge against him for
That's
the
true.
Twilight Imperium game. So
Gotcha.
there could be some interrelated incidents.
Okay. This is a long-standing feud. Yeah, I played this a couple. I played this game a
Which one
couple.
did we play first? It was
knows?
Twilight Imperium.
Yeah, it was. This was one of the last games you played.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I've seen it happen in multiple games. You got to be really careful in this one.
Yeah, I played a couple of times, and I haven't played more because I really wasn't into the game. But you know, it wouldn't have made my list. I did not see it being. I don't know. It didn't have that vibe for me that you really get angry at people.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next game because, well, too many people got angry at it, and that's Risk 2210. Now, I suppose you could put any Risk in this category.
I don't know. 2210 is
It's
a pretty special.
Well, that's because not only are you doing your typical attacking and everything, but you are also blowing up, nuking whole sections of the
nuclear
boards.
weapons.
Actually,
Yeah.
Legendary Risk Legends might come close.
Okay.
Legendary Risk, because there is some of that stuff that can happen in that
Right.
game. But man, here's the deal: I have played all the games on this list, and some of the games I played, people have not got angry in, even number 1 and 2. But I've never in my life played a game of Risk 2210 where someone didn't get angry. And I have even, I pride myself that I very rarely get angry in games, almost never. And I stood up and screamed in someone's face in this game.
He screamed at a pastor.
Okay, but that pastor in that same game,
Top 10 games to avoid in church is like.
that pastor was screaming at me
next
too.
week.
Yes,
I
he
had
was.
never seen that guy ever get
Right,
mad
he
in
was-
any game.
He was normally a very mild-mannered, controlled personality,
This
but
game is the devil! But it really does bring out the worst in you because,
Wow.
in fact, this was a game when I played with Joe Stedman the very first time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm going to teach him how this game plays. And I took him out on the first turn. And he got really mad, which is a fair assessment. But the game is a catalyst for that. And because of that, this is a game you shouldn't play with angry people. You shouldn't play this game with anyone who has even the chance of getting angry.
Right.
But angry people, yeah.
Yeah, you're asking for it.
This was an easy choice. When I think aggregate,
You guys
this
both-
is like at the top.
You guys both had this game pretty high on your list, I'm assuming.
Actually,
Yes,
yeah, his
I
one
had
and
number 1.
his one and my number 2 were switched 2 and 1. So
Okay, yeah, because it's not.
This was your number 1,
it's not
right?
on my list, mainly because it says Risk on the box and I haven't played it. But
Wow. Gamer snob.
What is that? Is that elitism I smell?
go on to good games on the list.
2 good games.
No, I just haven't played it, but man, I'm avoiding it now. That's for sure.
to the game that probably everybody expected to be on the list, and that is diplomacy.
And this is the one game that I said, the exception of one game, that the rest of them were games that I would want to play.
Yeah.
I will never play diplomacy.
Yeah, it wasn't on my list because I would play.
This was number one on my list because I have seen so many people get angry at this game. I've seen a guy crying in anger and frustration, a grown man at a convention over this game. I've seen people quit the game and just sheer.
Kind of funny.
I feel like I'm listening to that Blade Runner monologue. I've seen a man cry at a gaming table over diplomacy. You know what I mean? The moon. What? Really? You've seen a guy weeping?
Yes,
While
really.
playing
It was
this
at
game.
it was at a diplomacy tournament at Origins. And he was sitting there, and then he went over and he was just like, "But you promised." Yes, he did promise, and yes, he lied.
Wow.
And see, the thing is, the game has a very high opportunity to lie to other people, but you don't even have to lie. You could be like, "Guess what? I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to beat you down now." Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, "Oh, please don't beat me down." No. And not only am I going to beat you down, but these three guys are going to help me. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I think diplomacy is a great teaching tool. I think it's an exceptionally well-designed game, even though I don't personally like it. I mean, there's some really neat stuff in it. It's lasted for 50 years. But, wow, this game makes people mad, and I mean, really mad. In
But
fact,
is there I don't mean to cut you off, but is there a group of people, new people, that enjoy playing this game?
I know there's a very big
good question,
online
yeah.
community of people who
Yeah,
play
but
it.
But
Sam's
are
saying
they
that might
young?
be carryover, you know.
Those are people that played it when it first came out. Sooner or later, I don't mean to be insensitive, they're not going to be here anymore.
Well, no, I played it with kids, and they've had fun.
Uh-huh.
I played it with kids, and they've had fun. But they've also gotten angry. But they've had fun.
How long is that game normally?
Oh, it's
For
it depends.
hours.
Figure a normal game is 5 hours.
You've played that game
Think,
for 5 hours with kids?
think of Twilight Imperium
I played it a
3
turn a day.
as far as
in
length
classrooms.
is concerned. Twilight Imperium 3, as far as length is concerned.
Yeah.
Sap all the fun out of it.
Right.
And you've got diplomacy.
Okay, well, I'm not here necessarily to knock the game down.
I am.
I just want to say that it really makes people mad. I haven't gotten mad playing it, but it's brought a level of tenseness to me when I play. Or when I'm done, I'm like, I feel like I went 3 days without drinking coffee if I was a coffee drinker. I don't know how to explain it. I have a headache. I'm like, oh, and I can realize that if you were someone to get mad, just be careful. This is the only game I've seen a grown man cry over, so there is
They should
that.
put that on the box when they reprint this. I've seen a
Makes-
grown man cry over this game.
Makes
Bombastic.
grown men
Actually,
cry.
I do know that there are friends who have stopped speaking to each other over this
Right.
game.
Yeah.
The tagline is, not the official tagline, but diplomacy, destroying friendship since 1956
Yeah,
or whenever
yeah.
it was invented. All right, on to number one. Interestingly enough, this was the only game that was on all three of our lists, but just like my top two, this was one of the first ones that came to mind. Because, like I said earlier, this game, I'm convinced, was designed to make people angry. There's no way the designer thought,
People will enjoy
this
being thrown over the side of a boat.
well, you know, there was another game that almost made my
German.
actually did make my top 10 list, but was Mall of Horror and City
Yeah.
of Horror.
Yes,
but
yes. That was right there. That would have been my 11 or 12.
But Mall of Horror / City of Horror, for some reason, those games, they have other things going on, so you feel like you can mitigate it. And this one, people are throwing you off a boat.
Yep.
There's nothing else.
Right.
And they are doing it with glee, and it's...
And the thing is about it,
pointing and
it's
laughing.
a negotiation game where you have nothing to offer. Nothing.
That's right, you just got to convince...
Hey guys, we're on a boat together. You have two guys on the boat, and you have two guys, and I have one. Crap. I'm gonna go over the side, aren't I?
No, but then
Can
you
I
convince
offer
me...
you that we get him instead?
I'll buy you lunch
Yeah,
afterwards.
there's like nothing to give.
Right.
But I think
You're screwed. You know?
in lifeboats, more than any other game, like you said, because you have nothing to offer, in lifeboats, people are thrown overboard, and people lose this game because of their personalities.
Yeah.
We threw John overboard because, well, we just don't like him. And that's what happens in this game more than any other game. It's not because he's winning or he has the most money. It's like, nah, I don't like him. And since you tend to kind of say that sometimes, or at least
Yeah, you gotta be careful, you know?
the explosions.
Yeah, this is definitely that kind of game where you have the frog in boiling water kind of thing, where the more you go and the boats get a little closer, it's like, oh, these guys threw me over once. If they do it again, if this happens again, I'm not outnumbered on this boat anymore. They're gonna pick on me again. You know what I mean? It's like you just got that.
Then there's the mechanic where, depending on what order you're going in, you don't have a choice what boat you get to go into.
Right, if you jump out of a boat,
You just get stuck.
and then you got to jump back in.
Right.
When you get in the boat and you know
Yeah,
you're not going to survive that
You
boat.
get stuck in a boat you're not going to survive in. Oh, man.
Now, incidentally, there's another game called Lifeboat, which is different than this one,
Right.
but also probably in the top 20 games that have to play people get angry.
Right. Yeah.
And that one, you're just one character who's going to get thrown out. Here you have multiple people. This gives you a chance to get mad multiple times. So,
It's madness in waves.
anyway.
Oh,
You like that one?
that was good. Yeah, that was good.
So anyway, that's our top 10 games to play with angry people.
Not to play
You're
with
right.
angry
Now,
people.
avoid. Top 10 games to avoid with Sam, mostly.
I don't.
What?
I usually don't get that angry
I'm scared
at the
now.
table.
Keep the video on, Tom. Keep it on.
Yeah, you laugh.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.